You look beautiful.
Okay, great. Thank you. It's the ring light.
Thank you for, yes. Thank you for joining us. The fans are so excited.
Sure.
I don't know if you've been hearing us talk about you. And
yes, thank you very much.
I've had the album on replay. It's my running jam. It's so good. And you're breaking all kinds of records. I want to make sure I get it right. The most first week streams for a debut album by any country artist in history. That's got to make you feel good.
It's crazy. Yes, it definitely does. It makes everything worth it. It's been crazy hearing all of the stuff that's come from the song, because if you would have told me 2 years ago. And what's funny is I Hope is the fourth song that I ever wrote in Nashville, Tennessee, ever. And for this kind of reaction to come from it, it's just crazy to me. So it's been really nice though during quarantine, being able to sit here and like soak in everything that's happening. Because when you're moving so much, you know, it's hard to do that. So
it's been that forced slowdown that I think everybody's appreciated. I've looked at it as a great blessing. So how have you guys been doing in lockdown?
Good. We are good. We are actually hanging out with some family in Texas right now. I was in Nashville for about 2 months just getting ready for album prep and pushing that out. So now that it's starting to, after we released it, we came back to visit with some family still. So it's been really good. We're doing good. We're doing pretty much what everybody else is doing, just taking it day by day. So it's been good.
Well, it is a fandemic, the radio.com fandemic. With Gabby Barrett. So I want to get to the fans' questions for sure. I'm Kelly, and we've never met.
Hi,
nice meeting. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Yes. Let's get Cheryl Lynn 943's in. She says, when will you be headlining, and who would you choose to open for you? Like when you headline, which is obviously inevitable.
You know what? We were actually going to do some headlining dates this year. And sadly, I don't think that's going to happen just from how everything's going with the music world. But definitely going to be doing some headlining stuff next year for sure, which is really, really exciting for me. And who would I want to open for? That's really hard. There's a lot of people. Oh gosh.
That is a tough
This is hard.
It's a good question, Sherilyn.
That is a very good question. I don't know. I'd say like, does it have to be in genre? Somebody like Crazy, or like something that probably will never happen. I'd probably say like Steven Tyler or somebody.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
That'd be fun.
Dream big. Go big.
That'd be fun. That's right.
Yeah.
Go big or go home. That's right.
Amazing. BDM 7494, who I just gave a shout out to, and I remember he's in Michigan, or she. What is your favorite song on the album? Before you got on, we were talking about each of us what ours were.
Favorite's really hard. I could tell you which one I was really excited for people to hear, which would be Footprints on the Moon. That was the song that I was so excited for people to hear. One, just because the song, well, the album has a lot of variety to it, but that song, it's such a cool, like, encouraging song that I wish I kind of had when I was performing in high school and before high school, and just some type of encouragement towards dreams and things like that. Two, I love the sound of and everything about it. I think it's going to be a really fun song to perform. It's just like a super rockin' song. And then three, it's actually the same trio that wrote I Hope that wrote that song. So it's me, John Knight, and Zach Hale. So we'll see what comes from that song too. Hopefully something in the future.
I love it. I was just thinking about the headlining question, and I remember when you signed your deal, I read that you had talked about, you know, that dream of playing Madison Square Garden like so many people have. Like, yeah. where are we with that? I know, you know, in like the great scheme of things of that dream still being alive.
Every year I kind of just mark off a birthday, mark off a slash. So I'm hoping within 2 years. That's my plan, hopefully.
And that's adjusted for pandemic times.
I think so, yes. we added a good 6 months to that.
Good.
But yeah, Madison Square Garden was like, I don't know, when I was growing up, I always just thought like, oh, if you went to Madison Square Garden or if you performed there and you sold it out, I was like, oh, you've made it, like in the music world, I have them out. And so I was just, and I actually got to open up for Kane Brown this year in January at Staples Center, which was crazy. So it kind of gave me like a teaser, like, oh, I hope I come back and I'm able to pack the place too. So
I hear if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. You can make it anywhere.
That's the goal.
Anywhere. So many great questions. Let me get to more on the GabbyBarrettRadio.com Fandemic. Pat Rogers, 12345. How does it feel to be breaking all of these records like we mentioned? It's such a great accomplishment for all of your hard work, and you have been one of those people just grinding it out and working so hard for so long.
Yeah, exactly. I have been performing since I was 11, like vigorously. I mean, like actually grinding it out. I'm not talking like 2 shows every 6 months, but so when you say like, oh, you're breaking all these records and you're doing all these things and you have #1 song and all of this craziness, it really is, I know it sounds cliche, but it really is like, it doesn't feel real because for 9 years I have been in this mindset of, okay, got to get to this place. To this place is where we want to go, where we're headed. And so when it's actually happening, it's like, what? Because your mindset has been focused toward going towards that for so long to where when it's actually happening, it's like, like it's just so nice, and it makes everything so worth it, all the very, very hard times. So I just feel very blessed, especially to be making country music in this generation too. And right now it's just very fun. So.
And gratifying for your dad too. I think he was really with you all along the way, grinding it out with you. I did read that you started at 11, and I wondered if you remember what your go-to song was back then. Like, what was your first song you ever sang for a live crowd?
That would be probably "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele.
Oh wow, how ambitious for an 11-year-old!
I know, it was crazy. I grew up singing in a gospel choir when I was 9. I wasn't the one that figured out I could sing. It was actually my dad. I was singing around the house, and he had stopped me, and I was singing "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele. It had just come out around that time, and he had recorded me and was like, "This doesn't sound normal for a 9-year-old to be sounding." However, I was sounding at the time. He was like, "There's something here." And then that's how I eventually later on went into and started singing in a gospel choir and kind of learned for 2 years how to sing. But "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele was actually like the first song that catapulted me into any type of singing.
Well, and the album, I think really your vocals are so strong on it. It really, you can hear that passion and all that hard work paying off. I mean, it's clear.
Yeah, I wanted it to be something that I was going to be proud of looking back on. And I've just heard other artists kind of talk and say 3 and 4 albums in, like, oh, now this album is finally me. And I was like, well, I want this first album right off the bat to be very me, and just because of everything that's come with I Hope, it's kind of like, okay, well, what else is there to this Gabby Barrett girl? Who's this I Hope girl? And so with the album, I really wanted to explain that because I was influenced by a lot of different genres and variety in different ways growing up. And so that's kind of why the album is so like multi-genre and all kinds of stuff is going on in it.
You could get Charlie Puth to open for you, since you own that.
Not yet. Not yet.
I do
One day.
I do love the version of I Hope with him, the last track on the album. It's really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun to make.
All right, let's get to Crazy Craze. Crazy Craze 39. Cade has been a great addition to the band with his guitar solos here and there. Do you see him singing duets with you on tour?
I could definitely see that for sure. It's kind of like, I don't really consider him like equal to the band because we're married and we basically do this together. So it's more of like a Stevie Lindsay thing minus the relationship. The relationship wasn't good, but the music was great. So, and they did it together and people knew of them kind of together. And so it's just really fun to be able to do this stuff with him now and do it as family. That's like your dream with music. You want to take your family on the road and be able to do these things together. And so, yes, I could definitely see duets happening. People have been asking about that with music too. Like, is there any songs going to come out that you guys are going to do together? And hopefully in the future, there's some plans for that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw us singing something on tour together next year.
I love that. You guys are so cute. It's so fun to watch you on socials. Good couple.
Thank you.
Let's see. Revy of Sunshine. Ray of Sunshine. Revy. Hi. Ray of Sunshine. Gabby Barrett. Favorite song to write on Goldmine, your new album that just came out. Also, kind of a long shot here, but is your favorite movie Titanic? I'm sure they're referencing, Rose Needs Jack, which is actually one of my favorite songs on the album.
Thank you. Oh gosh, favorite song to write on the album? These are very hard questions. These are good questions, everybody. One that was very special to me was a song called Got Me that's on the album. It's kind of has that Christian gospel-y feel to it, just from me kind of growing up in the church. I always loved gospel and Christian music, and then the past couple years, that's been a very large part of just who I am and what I want to say and things through music and the platform given. So that was a very, very special song. My husband got to write on that song as well. And I think it was such a cool song also to add during the times right now of people being very uncertain, and it's unwavering, and it's like you feel like you have nothing to grab onto because you're not in control of anything, which is the point. We have to remember that the Lord is always in control of everything and to grab onto Him at all times. So it was a very special song for me to be able to release that with this body of work of just who I am as a person with this album. So that one was really fun to write. And Titanic, I'd probably say that's like in my top 5. Yes. To my
wow. Good long shot there, Ray Sunshine. Great question.
Yes, that's in my top 5. I mean, that's a really good movie. I don't know anybody that hasn't seen the Titanic. And yes, I would think that was a nod towards Rose Needs a Jack. That one was actually the first song that I ever wrote in Nashville, Tennessee. Ever.
Oh, that's cool.
Before I Hope, I wrote that song. And that was with Zach Hale and another friend of ours. And so, yeah, I was just like, when writing that song, I was like, oh, well, I know in country music the main love theme is Johnny and June, but what can I do that's a little bit different? Because there's already so many songs about that. I'm always looking to kind of like add differences to my music and messages and things. And so I was like, what about Rose and Jack from Titanic? I was like, nobody's ever written about that from what I've heard, the country format. So I was like, let's write about that. And so we did.
What would 2020 July Gabby Barrett tell February 2020 Gabby Barrett about what was coming?
Probably that. Oh wait, July.
So Gabby Barrett now. If you got to talk to Gabby back in February, the you now, what advice would you give her or tell her? Stock up on toilet paper.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
But probably that me being from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my husband and I live in Nashville. We live in Nashville, and his family's from Texas, so it's really, really hard to get in any family time because we're moving all the time. And so I'd probably tell myself to get ready because you're going to spend a lot of family time together. Also that things are just going to really start sinking in, and you're going to get a moment to kind of refocus and get a little bit of a fresher mindset with things. So, which is nice.
Which is probably at this stage of your career, back to what you were talking about, appreciating the moment. It's very good because it is very hard to, I think for all of us, it's been good to get off the merry-go-round a little and just recenter.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the best career advice you ever got along the way? Which I'm sure you got some good stuff when you were on Idol.
Yeah. Best career advice. One of the things I'd probably say, I learned this about, sorry, my nose is running.
I know, it's allergies. It's so bad right now.
It really is. One of the best pieces of advice somebody had told me was with entertaining, because I really focus in on entertaining. I would consider myself an entertainer and a singer more than anything else. And that's what I liked growing up. So I really studied into that. And so somebody told me, kind of around 17, I think, that when you're singing to a crowd, and it's a bigger audience of people, always act like you're singing to the back row. And that was very, very, very helpful, because when I first started performing and things like that, it was very easy to just get kind of caught up with the people in the front that are like with their hands and like all that kind of thing. And then you have to remember that there's people in the back that want to feel the same energy as the people in the front. Mm-hmm. So that was something that was very helpful as an entertainer, to just remember to always sing to the back row. And obviously entertain the first row, but remember that there's a back row of people as well. And so that was really helpful for me to know, and something that I will take for the rest of my career too.
These have been such great fan questions, Gabby, and you established such a great fan base, because obviously you're so real and vulnerable and open and sharing your faith. Tell me, and us, the fans, what they mean to you. I mean, obviously they love you very much. The list, if you're reading, oh my God, I love you, Gabby Barrett. So well spoken. You're an inspiration. I mean, it goes on and on.
Thank you. That is very sweet. Yes, I'm looking through them right now. I don't know. I mean, it never gets old. It's something that never gets old. From a young age, I always wanted to, again, try and do stuff that made fans feel special. That's why during this quarantine and stuff, I've really been trying to figure out with my team how to do things to still involve fans and involve supporters and people, just because I really realize all the time I would not be here without them and their support. The fans are the ones that put you where you're at. The fans are the ones that let you live a wonderful life and an easy life and all of these things. And so it really always just comes back to them. And at a young age, even with performing, I was like, when I step on the stage, it's not about me anymore. It's about them. It's about making other people have a good time and helping them with whatever you can. And so, I don't know, I just really, really, really appreciate fans, and I try to show that with involving them and going to do free meet and greets and stuff after shows. And Christmas time, I would like create little baggies for, I don't know, I just try to do things for them all the time, because I really do appreciate it, and I really understand that I would not be here without them. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support, everybody commenting and hopping on too. I just really appreciate it.
Jaden Varner, we love you so much. It's interesting to get to know you and to talk to you for the first time, because obviously you're young, but it seems like you're an old soul, and that you can probably relate to any age. Like, were you like that when you were a kid? Were you like 9-year-old Gabby Barrett was like, yes, let's sit down and talk about the meaning of life?
You pretty much, yes. It's funny that you said that, because I always tended to get along with older people. Like, I had a hard time in school and in high school and that kind of thing. And I always, like, when I was 10 years old, I would hang out with girls that were 25 to 30, because, I mean, my neighbor was one of those people. Her name was Heather, and she was literally 25 and I was 10, and I would hang out with her more. It was something I always just gravitated towards older people, I guess, because I could connect with them more somehow. And so that's nice of you to say that. Thank you.
Well, it is true. You love your fans. We appreciate you for doing this radio.com pandemic. Sure. And then everyone watching right now, we'll all see you at Madison Square Garden in 2 years when Charlie Puth opens for you.
Sounds good. I'll be there. Get your tickets right now.
Thank you so much. It was great to meet you, Gabby Barrett. Congratulations on the success of Goldmine, and I hope and keep breaking those records.
Thank you so much. Very nice to talk to you. Hopefully I can see you in person sometime after this ends.
Yes, I know. We'll be able to hug again. It's been killing me not to hug people, but it's great to meet you. And thank you to all the fans for all your great questions and joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Radio.com Pandemic with Gabby Barrett. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications from radio.com. While you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other great videos.